Hey guys, Cam with Home to Canine Dog Training and Hope to Canine Rescue. Wanted to record a rescue dog log. Sometimes all you got is your time in the car, so we're gonna take it. There's been some stuff kind of kicking around for me that I wanted to share with you that has to do with just like the absolute critical key ingredients, first steps, absolute must do and must don'ts around how to be successful with your rescue dog. And I've been talking about the structured walk. I've been talking about structure in general. What are the ingredients to creating structure though? And what are the tools that are really going to help you to set an intention with your new dog that that will empower them to build impulse control, confidence, calm, earn their freedom, all the things you ultimately want, but that you need to commit to the process that will get you there. And one of those things, of course, is the crate, which we're going to come back to, but the other is the leash. So one of the biggest mistakes I see adopters, fosters make is taking their dog off leash too soon. And I'm not talking about out and about in the in the public park or whatever. I'm talking about in your house. Our dogs are getting off-leash privileges long before they've earned them when they come into the house. They're getting excessive amounts of privilege and affection in the way of accessing certain resources like furniture time, physical touch and praise, food resources without earning them. But the bigger challenge is actually coming when we unclip that leash and we allow the dog to explore what they can get away with physically. And the fact that they learn very quickly that if they run away, we can't catch them. If they avoid the recall, if they dodge, having to give up something they've picked up with their mouth that's not supposed to be for them, they learn very quickly what works to get them out of accountability. And it plants these awfully difficult seeds of entitlement and brattiness, attitude stuff, obviously, but also that develops into insecurity and anxiety because the dog's perception is, you can't stop me, you can't enforce anything. So when the stakes are higher, when we're out and about, when there's concern, fear, nervousness, lack of socialization or conditioning, and the dog is worried about a dog that they're passing or a person that they're meeting, that same belief and perception about you that you can't handle things, you don't have this under control, seeps in and causes the dog to exhibit behaviors of reactivity, avoidance, fearful, biting, potentially even jumping, all kinds of crap, right? That is problematic to us, but that we miss the boat and we get behind the 8 ball on because we think it's just dogs being dogs. Well, we actually create and contribute to these belief systems that our dogs have, and therefore create and contribute to the behaviors they exhibit out of that space mentally and emotionally. So back to the key ingredient here. It's the leash. You've got to keep a leash on your dog. Your dog needs to graduate from being on leash. They need to earn off-leash freedom. And this goes for in the house also, not just out and about in a big, open, wide space. So if you're keeping a leash on, I want to give you kind of a correlation here to people or kids. It's like holding your kid's hand when you cross a busy street. Man, you guys, like we do this with kids who are sometimes like 10 years old, right? For a long time, we recognize that we need to check in and watch. Where's our kid and are they paying attention? Because guess what, guys? It takes a long time and a lot of life practice for our kids to learn self-awareness and impulse control, to learn to look both ways, to pay attention, to be consistent in a process and a default behavior themselves after practicing it many, many times because we've enforced it. So it's super duper important that you think about it in a similar fashion with regard to the dog earning off-leash freedom. It's not until after they've practiced and been led in a behavior choice over and over and over again that we begin to cultivate reliability and impulse control in the dog, that we can start to trust that the dog understands making that decision on their own, being attentive and tuned in, and having connection to the world around them in a consistent manner, that they're going to be safe, right? They're going to be safe, they're going to be reliable, they're going to be pleasant and appropriate, We hold hands for a long, long time until we know that that's the case and can be sure that behavior, habits are in place, right? Rules are in place that the dog themselves respect and, and follow along with. So I want to just kind of bring that to your attention because that is one of the number one mistakes that we find. I had a Skype call just this week with somebody who adopted a dog a few months ago. Dog is 9 months old now and had a lot of off-leash freedom and terrible behavior, jumping on the owner when they come back to reunite at the home, taking things they shouldn't have, tuning out commands, running away when they need to actually be coming, and getting a leash on or getting in the kennel or, whatever the case may be. There's barking, there's nipping, there's all kinds of stuff that can't be resolved because there's no hand-holding, there's no connection, which would happen by remaining on leash, right? Until that dog shows us that they understand the sequence of behaviors that's expected of them reliably, the pattern of choices that needs to be in place in these circumstances that happen every day over and over again. That's when that leash can start to go away because we know we have a dog who's making excellent default choices on their own. So I really hope this makes sense, you guys. Like I said, sometimes we get a little overly excited. We got a new puppy, we got a new dog. We want them to have all the love, all the affection, all the freedom pieces. We want to bring them home and watch them race around because maybe it's a shelter dog and he has had no, happy life to run around in his own backyard, blah, blah, blah. But we're really applying a human psychology in that context. We're doing that for ourselves. And I really want you to see that. You're doing that for yourself because you yourself want to experience all the feel goods around letting that dog have that freedom. It's actually not helping that dog to ultimate freedom when that dog is learning what they can get away with, that crappy behavior is successful in getting what they want, that you can't enforce anything, that you can't manage anything. And now stress starts to build, relationship associations go south because the dog sees that you don't have this under control. And then you start to get behaviors that you just really do not like, that cannot continue, that are really dangerous. Dogs that are jumping on people, freaking somebody out. Someone's calling, animal control because your dog bolted out the door and jumped on them or went after their dog because too much freedom too soon, right? So that's a huge, huge, huge key ingredient, you guys. You've got to keep your dog on leash. You've got to consider that dog to be earning freedom even inside the house. It's the only way you're going to build that concept and reliable behavior choice outside the house. Super, super important, okay? All right, guys. More rescue dog logs coming soon. Take care.